he became a machinist. First few years were rough before he was able to get a machinist job. You know, he painted, he waitered, he did handyman, whatever he could. My mother was home with us. However, the first apartment that we got in New York City, we were janitors. So my mother had to clean the building. My father was at work. So there were many times where my mother would be washing the hallways on her hands and knees with a bucket and a scrub brush. You know, my brothers relate those stories to me. Later on, when I was older, I would go with her, cleaning offices and things like that. Much later, my father got my mother a job at the machine shop where he was working, and she worked in a kind of assembly area, putting together the parts that were being manufactured there. But my mother worked at Sokol Hall in the kitchen, weddings, making dumplings, whatever they needed. And my father was a porter there at times. My father worked in National Hall on 73rd Street as a waiter during affairs. My brothers did. My father always had two jobs when he was working. He had the machine shop during the day and a waiter at night. He waited at Vashata's on 75th between 1st and 2nd. He was there for many years. We wound up living in that apartment later on before they retired. Well, we bounced around Yorkville as janitorial jobs became available. We were not janitors at Vashata's, but we moved to 71st Street after 76. We lived across the street from Sokol Hall. I became very involved there, started at the age of 6, and we were the janitors there as well, until we had to move because they renovated, and then we lived on 2nd Avenue between 73rd and 74th, around the corner from National Hall. And by that time, my father had been working strictly as a machinist and still working nights as a waiter. And all my brothers, we all worked. I worked in the restaurants in Yorkville, Vashata, Ruch's. My brother Charlie went to school. He became a pharmacist. He worked in a Czech pharmacy in Yorkville. Yorkville was a wonderful place to grow up. It was an area where there were ethnic groups. You had your Slovaks, your Czechs, your Hungarians, your Germans. It was like little Central America there. Czech butchers, Czech bakers, Czech doctors, optometrists. You know, it was like being home away from home for us.